Hey, what's up? I'm Dan. Welcome to a special episode of Pistons of Fury. Today, it's going to be kind of like a mini episode. I'm going to be repairing my welder. I'm going to show you guys how to replace the lining in a Miller-Matic MIG welder welding gun. We're also going to be replacing the tip and replacing the wire spool. The one I have in there is pretty rusty. I live kind of close to the ocean, a lot of salt air in my area, so welding spool, if you don't use it pretty frequently, it gets some surface rust and that clogs up your lining. So that, coupled with the fact that I've never replaced the lining at all, it's about 9 years old now, it's just time. So let's get started. Alright, so first thing we need to do, this is a pretty standard MIG setup. This is a Miller-Matic 175. So the first thing we have to do is disconnect the existing spool. So I need to grab some wire cutters, cut this right here, and then there's a few things that you have to do to disconnect it. It's really just disconnecting the spool here, so you just unscrew that, you pop this guy, and then undo this knob right here, and then this entire gun assembly just slides right out. And you should probably, like I just didn't do, secure the wire before you cut it, because it's wound pretty tightly and it'll just spin right off. So, a good lesson on what not to do. I've done this before and I completely forgot that happens. So the wire spools actually come with a little hole, usually on the edge like this, so you can actually just stick the wire in and just bend it around and that secures it. So, good to know. Oh, another thing, these wire spools are always reverse threaded because of the way that it spins, so righty loosey, lefty tight. Alright, so I don't know, the wire actually doesn't look bad because I have been using it to fix some of these floor panels, so I might reuse this. I'm not sure yet. Okay, so then you have to twist this thing off the front. I don't know what it's called, otherwise I would say so. Just unscrews. And then this should just pull it out. Had it out before. Doesn't want to come right now. Might need some help. Oh. One thing I just realized I forgot to do was to unplug the welder. Alright, so that's probably step number one. Go ahead and unplug the 230 volt plug so you don't electrocute yourself. That very well could have been my last YouTube video. There we go. Okay, so this comes out. It has a rubber sleeve, and I keep getting glare off the sun, so I may have to go block that. Basically, it's just got a rubber sleeve over some of the electrical connections on it. But I think what has to happen here is there's a little hex nut, and I believe that holds on the inner sleeve. So I need to probably take that off, and then also see what I can do to take the gun assembly off. So I'm probably going to go silent here for a little bit and try to get this figured out. Alright, so basically how this is set up is the tip, this unscrews on this end, and that looks like that just kind of secures the lining in place. And then I think once you have it unscrewed on this end, this lining just slides out. maybe? It might not be that easy. I may have to go Google this. That's what I'm gonna do. Alright, so basically I was right. You just pull these two nuts off each end, and then you just grab a pair of vice grips or pliers if you don't have vice grips, and you attach them here, and you just have to pull real hard. So the one tutorial that I saw actually just said to stretch the line out as straight as you can to avoid any unnecessary friction. The nut on the side that goes into the welder is actually part of the replacement line. So yep, I just verified my replacement has that, so we are good to go. I'm just going to stretch this out, and hopefully it should just pull out. It's not going to come easy. Oh, there we go. Yeah, once you get it past the initial, that initial pull, the whole thing just kind of zips out. And I'm assuming assembly is the opposite of removal, as it is in most cases. It's a little hard to get out, so I'm not sure what the best way to get it back in is, but we will try. Okay, the other thing I should probably point out is that this is a 15-foot liner. My gun only has a 10-foot cable, so I'm assuming I will have to cut this short. This is like a generic part though. It works on all their MIG lines, so I guess the higher up models have longer cables. Yeah, so anyway, the longer length should actually make it a little bit easier to get this line in. Alright, so one thing to be real careful about here is when you're putting this in, especially when you get towards the end and it gets up into your gun and there's a little kink it has to work through, don't push too hard. I almost kinked this thing beyond repair, and that would have been a disaster. Because if it gets kinked, that can mess with your wire feed. And actually, the reason why I'm replacing this is because I was starting to get intermittent or sporadic activity with my welder. So I'd pull the trigger and the wire would like come out, it would stutter a little bit, then it would go some more, and then it would stop. So that's actually one of the symptoms of needing a new liner. Let's see, so it seems to be stuck somewhere in here. I'm not really sure how to get past this last little section. I'm wondering if there's a better way to do this. So let's see. Alright, so that was a lot harder probably than it should have been, but it did go through. So the key was just getting the line super straight so there's no friction along the actual inside of the tube, and then once it got to the end it kind of made that bend by itself. So good to know. This is 10 millimeter, by the way. Okay, that side's all tight, and I think we're going to have to cut the other end. Okay, so this little guy I think just slides back over. That, maybe? No, I think I have to cut that first. Alright, so now that you have the wire fed through, what you're supposed to do is take a sharp pair of snips and cut about 1/2 inch from the tip. So about 1/2 inch from there, and do that. Now I'm not confident that my my cutting tool is sharp enough, so I think what I'm going to do is just grab a Dremel, and that way I'll get a nice clean cut. I won't crimp it, because if you crimp it, if it's not sharp enough, basically you crimp it, and then your wire could get hung up there when you're welding, and it's going to have the same issue as before. So I'm going to grab a Dremel tool and just cut that off. And there we go. Probably can't see that, but it's a perfect little hole now. So that should not get caught on anything. So now I think what you do is basically, let's see my, yep. So now you just put this cap back on, screw that, and on the inside it's got kind of a tapered entrance, so it kind of forces the wire up in the right place. So I think what has to happen now is we basically just reinstall the spool gun, so I'm gonna do that. Alright, so got some new tips from Miller. These are 0.30 to match up the wire that I'm welding with. It's just a pretty good general purpose size wire. Most of the stuff I do is either like making brackets or doing some body work. You know, I guess you could go a little thinner if you want to do body work, but I'm mostly working on old muscle cars, and the sheet metal tends to be thicker. If I had a bunch of Japanese cars where they use like modern, really thin sheet metal, I'd probably go with a little bit of thinner wire, but these work, so I'm just gonna get to installing them here. Success! And it feels, I can't even describe how much smoother this gun feels now. With brand new lining, brand new tip, brand new wire. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be really good. Alright, so that's it for this mini episode. Hope you learned something. Hope I added some value over and above the other YouTube videos that show you how to do this. But yeah. Till then, check out the channel. Please subscribe. If you like this video, like it. And yeah, see you guys next time.